This is Would You Rather with 40 of the hardest choices you will ever have to make. So if you are ready, let's get started. Would you rather find true love or win a lottery? Would you rather always have a full fridge or always have a full gas tank? Would you rather live in a mansion alone or live in a small house with friends? Would you rather know when you are going to die or know how you are going to die? Would you rather get stranded in Antarctica or get stranded in a desert? Would you rather be smart and unattractive or be attractive but dumb? Would you rather be forever young or eat a lot without getting fat? Would you rather be buried alive for a day or spend a month in prison? Would you rather have no taste or be colorblind? Would you rather have a successful career or have a successful relationship? Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals? Would you rather give up your favorite food for a week or don't use your phone for a week? Would you rather lose all your money or lose all your memories? Would you rather date your best friend or date a stranger? Would you rather be a vegetarian or eat meat only? Would you rather travel a lot or make a lot of friends? Would you rather watch your favorite show all day or read a book all day? Would you rather only wear pajamas for a year or only wear suits for a year? Would you rather eat the same meal every day or listen to the same music every day? Would you rather be rich and sad or be poor and happy? Would you rather be the president for a day or be a billionaire for a day? Would you rather have $1 million to yourself or give $10,000 to 100 people in need? Would you rather have a time machine or have a teleporter? Would you rather share your underwear or share your toothbrush? Would you rather travel back in time or travel into the future? Would you rather only use a fork to eat or only use chopsticks to eat? Would you rather never wash your hair again or never brush your teeth again? Would you rather have a short but fun life or grow old in poverty? Would you rather get locked in a lion's den or get locked in a room full of cockroaches? Would you rather live in extreme cold or live in extreme hot? Would you rather fart every time you stand up or have a runny nose every time you sit? Would you rather never listen to music again or never see it rain again? Would you rather always feel hungry or always feel tired? Would you rather get lost in a foreign country or get lost at sea? Would you rather suffer from a leg cramp or stub your toe on a chair leg? Would you rather help solve world hunger or help solve global warming? Would you rather be in a zombie apocalypse or be in a purge? Would you rather never have to worry about money again or never get sick? Would you rather never use social media again or never play online games again? Would you rather bite your lip every day or stung by a bee every day? Tell me in the comments which choice was the hardest for you to make. And please give this video a thumbs up if you had fun. Thank you so much for playing.